Sagittarius ascendant, Sagittarius rising, how are you doing? Happy to be here with you. We're going to walk through your November energies, your November frequencies. A new moon that we're going to dip into, but we're also going to talk about an eclipse that happens this month. Where is the new moon happening in your life so we can make a wish? I'm going to give you the dates. I'm going to give you the time because the new moon wishing time is a big deal. And we're also going to then dip into the eclipse frequencies. What kind of an eclipse is it? Where is it happening in your life? How do you prepare for it? Can you prepare for it? Full moon eclipse energy, but it's in Gemini energy. How to find out the deeper meaning of it in your specific chart. Every single one of us, depending upon our location of our birth, the time of our birth, not just the date, but the time of our birth, will tell us a little bit something more details as to what you can expect, not only from any event that happens astrologically, but this eclipse event. All you got to do is find your Mercury in your chart. Find out where your natal Mercury is, okay? Because Mercury moves through a sign roughly in less than 30 days sometimes. Sometimes it can move through a sign in 20 days, right? So in other words, if you're born in the same year as somebody, you likely, more than likely, will have your Mercury at a different location than somebody else you knew or who was born in the same year as you because it moves so fast, okay? So that means Mercury can hit all the 12 signs, more than 12 signs, within 1 year. So understanding that, why that's important, because Mercury rules this eclipse. Mercury rules this eclipse. And we'll dive in deeper into the Gemini energies because remember, folks, Gemini is the duality. It's the duality. It's understanding the masculine and the feminine side of my personality, of who I am. It's understanding my material, my tangible, my rational thinking, but the higher octaves of Gemini energy. There's this divine spark that comes through. And how do we decipher the difference? Is it mine or is it divine? So Sag, when we talk about who you are, okay, to give you a rough idea of this, right? This is Sagittarius ascendant. This is you. This is your Sagittarius on your rising, which means this is your body, right? You look like a Sagittarian. People look at you and they're like, oh, that's a Sagittarius, right? For those who understand Sagittarian energy. And even if they don't understand it, there's certain traits and characteristics. There are certain personality expressions that they see that they're like, oh, it's one of those people. Or, oh, it's one of those people, right? It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can be a really great thing. I love Sagittarian energy. I get along with it. We work really well together, right? Unless we're not working well together. Because Sagittarian energy, they're teachers. You know, they really are teachers. They come with a purpose, and it's not just to teach one person, but a whole lot of people. Because it's Jupiter as your ruler. And so when you understand Jupiter rules your physical body, because you're Sagittarius ascendant, and what's on your ascendant is your physical body. It literally shapes and molds how you appear physically. It has everything to do with your structure. And so Sagittarians, let's think about this. You know, it's the centaur, right? It's the half human, half horse. So they love to drive, or they want to be on a horse. Okay. They love to travel. And they don't love to drive necessarily to just get in the car and go down the street. Like, they're the kind of person they really dig road trips. Now, this is who you would appear to be. It doesn't mean that's what you really, really like. Okay, it's just by appearance. Remember, it's like the cover of the book. The cover of the book many times tells you a little bit about something. Tells you a little bit about somebody. It's like when you go to the video. Remember back in the day, you'd go to a video store and you would pick out a movie. You know, like all the good movies you wanted were all gone. So you were like, well, shit, what am I going to get? And so you end up looking at movies you've never heard of. And you're like, well, so all you have to go by is what's on the cover of that movie, right? And so you're like, well, it looked like a good movie. You get home, you watch it, and you're like, your wife or your husband's like, where the hell? Why did you rent that? And you're like, well, it looked like a good movie, okay? That is the cover of the book. That is, you know, by a first impression, I thought this. But then once I got into it, once I hung around it, once I spent some time with it, I found out it really wasn't what I thought it was. There's so much more to this person. There's so much more to it. Or there's not a whole lot there, right? It's lacking in some way. It's not what I thought, right? First impressions, they say first impressions are everything. Well, they can get you in the door, can get you in the door, can get you the meeting, can get you the conversation. The first impression has nothing to do with it being something that will be lasting. When I say the ascendant and the rising sign, it's strictly first impressions. And that's what the rising sign energy is. And so Sagittarians appear to be these teachers. They appear to have a wealth of knowledge. They're like they'll be talking all the time. They'll be talking, communicating. They'll be in a mode where they look like they're teaching, or where they want to be a teacher, or where they can be a teacher. And so it may be confusing, okay? Because even though they may have all these great qualities and characteristics in their heart of hearts, they may not want to be doing that. They may have some other thing that really feeds them. That would be their sun sign. So Sagittarius on the ascendant, we have to find out where Scorpio energy is for you. Now we know it's not far from Sagittarius because the sign of Scorpio comes right before the sign of Sagittarius. You have Scorpio energy in your 12th house. We're having a new moon in your Scorpio energy. This is interesting. Scorpio energy operating in the 12th house is a good placement because the 12th house is all about things that are hidden. And Scorpio energy, in essence, is energy that we can't necessarily see. It's not necessarily something that's tangible. Say it's ethereal, it's not tangible. Stuff that is more operating below the surface, it's hidden as well. Scorpio energy is deep, all right? It's hidden. You know, it's like the pipes in the house. You know the house has pipes because you have water in the house, but you don't see the pipes. It's below the surface, okay? It's below the surface. It's in the dirt. It's down at the root level. And typically, we assign this to solar energy, SOULULAR, solar frequency. So you have soul energy in the 12th house. And the 12th house is solar energy, but it's like a higher octave of solar energy. And when I say it's a higher octave, it's because it's Neptune energy. And Neptune energy is this, not just the mind of God, but it's like Christ consciousness energy. It's this, I know we are all one. And I don't even know how I know or why I know. But when we talk about Scorpio is very psychic sign. And so Scorpio being very psychic because it can just get information. It's water, it's fixed water. So we've got water energy that's very psychic in a house of non-tangible 5D energy. So it has the ability to raise up the Scorpio energies. All right. So instead of connecting in with dead loved ones, you can connect in with God energies as well, because that is 12th house energies. And Scorpio in the 12th house means there's a link because it's Scorpio waters and Piscean waters. And so they can communicate. There's those possibilities of high information coming through, okay, of 5D energies streaming through. This is good. All right, this can be very beautiful, especially when you're asleep. Some people may say, yeah, it's a rockin' lifetime when I'm asleep. Like a lot happens. It's very active when I go to sleep. You're going to probably have lots of links with people who are deceased when you're sleeping, possibly people who are crossing over like at that moment. That's a possibility. You could be having information in dreams that comes from past lifetimes, information in dreams that comes from spirit guide. I mean, there's a whole slew of metaphysical stuff, metaphysical actions, metaphysical happenings. Remember, the 12th house is sleep, okay? The 12th house is not just sleep, but it's movies. It's all about fantasy, stuff happening that's not really necessarily tangible. So it's not just fantasy, but it's like sci-fi, right? Now, that doesn't mean you're into sci-fi, but it has the capabilities of expressing that way. So people who have lots of planets at this location would be people who would be probably then into sci-fi, or maybe creators of sci-fi stuff, writers of sci-fi stuff. Scorpio energy is very creative energy, all right? It has the ability to create without a doubt, but it's bonded energy, all right? That's Scorpio energy. It's deeply bonded energy. And Scorpio typically represents that Plutonian energy. It's the phoenix energy. It's rising up out of the ashes of this lifetime to past lifetimes of Scorpio frequencies and hearing dead loved ones or connecting in with spirit guides, connecting in with those on the other side, and the mind of God, information from God, information from source, from divine, from the universe, connecting all that in Christ consciousness, divine love, connecting that all together and somehow trying to make sense out of it, because there's a lot. There's a lot. And there's no shortcut to that. It's a troubleshooting, right? It's living it, receiving messages, deciphering, understanding what is mine, what is divine, how to work through that. It takes lots of time, lots of troubleshooting, lots of spiritual journey, right? Lots of spiritual journeying. Journaling is that's what I'm hearing. Lots of spiritual journaling, writing down, journaling. That is one of the best ways, I should say, to try to troubleshoot and figure out information that comes through dreams, information from guides and dead loved ones. There's a new moon happening here. Scorpio energy is energetic wounds, right? So this is wounds likely from past lifetimes, okay? Because the 12th house is really about past lifetime energy. And if past lifetime, if those words don't sit well with you, this is wounds from when you were a child, right? This is wounds from other people that you had contact with when you were really small, right? And so you don't even remember it, right? It's subconscious energy, which is the 12th house. It's totally subconscious energy. And typically when there's something that's subconscious, it occurs, there's lots of schools of thoughts on this, but it occurs because there was an event, some sort of a super emotionally charged event that was so powerful when it happened, too powerful to handle at the time. And it gets buried away and it's processed at a later time in our life. And so it takes us by surprise when it comes about, because all of a sudden it comes up and it happens and it's like, wait a minute, what am I feeling? Holy crap, this is something that happened like 30 years ago. What the hell, right? Or it's something you know about, you thought you processed. Well, this new moon, it's a time of release. It's a time of energetic healing. It's Scorpio energy. It happens at 23 degrees in 18 minutes. And so there's a culmination and a release. There's an intention of saying, I am forgiving, an intention of release, an intention of letting go. Okay? Because Scorpio has the ability, it's a fixed water sign. So it holds on to emotions. It holds on to these emotional wounds, right? But it can be just as powerful, just as good at releasing. Scorpio is really good at letting something go. The sign of the great release. Okay? It can go out very quickly. So you can learn, you can understand that you have it in you in this location in your life. You have the ability to release these wounds. You have these ability to release these energies that are no longer doing any good. By holding on to them, they're creating a bigger wound. And so this is a time of the new moon wishing. The new moon happens at 11:08. I need to go. Oh, I'm on it. Hold on. I'm on it. It's right in front of me. Hold on. It's on November 14th or 15th, depending upon where you live in the world. 11:08 p.m. Central Standard Time for where I live. If you are confused on how to figure out what day the new moon is on for you, just comment below. I can find that out for you depending upon where you're located and what time zone you live in. And the reason we need to know that, reason we need to know what time zone we're in and what day we're actually setting our prayers and our intentions is because this is a time when the universe is open. We are using all those keywords I just gave you. Everything I just said about Scorpio and your 12th house energies, all those words, you connect in. When you listen, you know what resonates for you. You know what it is that you're still holding on to, that you want to let go of. You know what it is that you need to have forgiveness for about something. And forgiveness, let's clarify this. Forgiveness doesn't mean, okay, I forgive you, and then you allow somebody to come back and do the same thing they did to you again. That's not what forgiveness is, all right? Forgiveness is, I forgive you, okay? I forgive you, I love you. I love myself too. Therefore, I forgive you and I let go of the anger. I let go of the resentment. I let go of of all that pain and suffering that I was creating for myself and all that bad energy I was sending out to you, like wishing you were harmed or wishing you were dead or whatever it is, wishing I could just one more time and I'd take you out type of thing, right? If I just had one more chance, I would say this to you and cut you with my words. It's a time of just releasing all of that and putting and giving it up there. Okay, I'm going to share with you a visual I got when I sat down with this, which it came like a lightning bolt actually. And what I saw was a soldier. And it made sense. It makes a lot of sense because Mars is the ruler of Scorpio. So it makes sense that it was a soldier sitting down on one knee. And he was like this. He was down on one knee. His head was bowed, but he had his hands up. And in his hands were the wound. If you could hold an energetic wound, like whatever this anger was, this ball of hatred and anger and animosity, was holding it up. So he was down on one knee, meaning I surrender, and I'm holding it up. But as I hold it up, what happened was the wound dissolved. The light was shown on the wound because this wound was buried. It was deep within. And so the visual makes so much sense. This is something that is so deep because it's Scorpio in your 12th house. It's hidden. It's in your subconscious. And there's nothing you can do but to release it, to surrender to it, to give it up to God, to give it up to Source, to give it to the universe. Let that light, let that thing that resides outside of you, that is more powerful than you, that is greater than you, that exists within you, but that you just need to let it go. You need to let it release, and you need to let deity take it from you and dissolve it. And by you holding it up, you're saying, okay, I see it, and I feel it, and I'm lifting it, and I'm holding it up, and it will be dissipated. You are using the universal frequencies to come through and to dissolve it with its light, and it will be lighter. And then I see that same soldier then able to not only stand up, because he's all of a sudden, he and she is lighter, they're healthier, they're brighter, they've got their arms above their head now, and they are just standing there in the light. And when they're in the light, I see each palm of their hand lit up like there's light now coming from their wounds. Literally, the light is shooting out of their wounds. And as I see, the visual is so clear. It's this person standing on the earth with arms above the head. The light from the universe is now coming through each palm of their hand, shooting through their body, and then going out of their feet, going out of the chakras in their souls, going down to the earth, right? So there's this channel that happens, this golden light that goes through them, goes to the earth. But when the earth gets it, you know what happens? The earth absorbs that kind of energy. The earth actually loves that energy. It takes that energy and it consumes it. It eats it. And it turns it around and it shoots it back out. And when it shoots it back out, it comes out through you. There's this bright white light, but it has pink, like rose color on it. And that's because it's been processed through the earth. And it comes back up through the earth, back through your feet, through your body, and emanates, shoots back out of your hands, and you then shoot that back to the universe. The universe can only receive that if it comes through you. And if you're willing to be the channel and allow it to come through you and go down to the earth. The earth, I know this sounds crazy, because we're just these physical bodies, right? And we're like, my God, the earth is huge. It's this magical thing. And I think the universe, it's, oh my gosh, the celestial bodies, they're divine, they're magical, like they're so much more than me. But the connection between those bodies and the earth, they literally need each human being on the planet to take part in the evolution of Earth herself. So this is the visual I'm receiving. So when we realize our role in this, our healing in this also heals the earth. The earth too shall be healed. And when the earth receives the universal frequencies coming through the physical body, they have to come through you because it needs your pain. It needs your anger. It needs your fear. It needs your doubt to come through energetically down into the earth's core. The earth can then take it and gobbles it all up and eats it. It feeds the earth. But it only works if you allow the light to come through and to push it through, because it first has to have the light from the universe touch it. It has to first have those universal frequencies tap into it, and it channels it through you, touches the core of the earth, and then it comes out of the earth as that bright white light with the pink rose tinge on it. And that's what comes up through your feet and fills your entire body with that pink, bright white light. And it shoots back out through your hands, back up to the universe. And then there becomes this mutual receptivity between the universe and you, Sagittarius, and the earth. And this is the magic that happens with those deep emotional Scorpio wounds in the 12th house and connecting with the higher frequencies. And this, for you, is your visual. And this happened. And I trust me, this is not the same visual I shared with the previous video. This was additional information for you specifically, Sag risings. And so this is your 12th house connecting in and those higher frequencies. And this happens on the 14th/15th of November. And this is at 11:08 p.m. This is a time of setting down and releasing, a time of working with the universal energies, a time you have so much power. This is all about your future. Once you do this, I'm going to tell you this why this is so important, okay? This is so important because once you do this, this releasing and this letting go, it's going to make room for something new, okay? And this new thing is the eclipse. There's an eclipse coming. And the eclipse happens on November 30th, okay? November 30th, we have a North Node lunar eclipse. Lunar, right? Lunar eclipse, because it's all about a release, right? It's all about a release. And it's crazy because the new moon is about a time of prayer and of intention. But because it's in Scorpio energy, and Scorpio is all about a release, we have to release to have room for the new. And you're releasing wounds, you're releasing hurts, you're releasing pain. You might be releasing actual relationships, but it's things that no longer serve you because it is emotional bonds, right, with individuals, but it's a release of that, of a habit. It's a release of a fixed way of feeling. It's a release of emotionally connecting in some way that no longer serves you. You're elevating. It's a whole new you that's emerging. And what we're going to do is just have faith and trust, okay? It's Scorpio new moon in your 12th house. And all I'm receiving for you is this is a time where you really just have to pencil in time for you. Pencil in time to be part of the divine. Okay, pencil in time to be part of the divine. Whatever that word is for you when you think of divine and connecting in, some people understand divine exists within them, right? So whatever that is for you, whoever you are, some people need to go to a church, some people need to go to a mosque, some people need to go and worship at wherever that is with their people, whatever that is for you, okay? Some just have a meditation room in their house. So whatever that is for you, some go out back, sit in the yard, sit under a tree, right? Sit on the earth. This is for all of us. It's important because that release will have so much to do with the cosmic frequencies that are coming in Gemini energy. Now, realizing we're talking to you, a Sagittarius rising. This lunar full moon lunar eclipse happens exactly opposite in your sign in Gemini. Sagittarius is the polar opposite of Gemini energy. Now, this happens in your 7th house, okay? At 8 degrees and 38 minutes, if you're looking at a tropical Placidus chart on your end and you want me to tell you, you say, gee, I am not sure where this eclipse is happening. It could be in my 6th or it could be in my 8th because the chart I'm looking at shows I got Gemini energy a little bit in my 6th and a little bit in my 7th. Just comment below and I'll help you. I will very easily, very quickly be able to tell you what house it happens in. And knowing what house it happens in is important. When an eclipse occurs, it's not just the point of the eclipse in the 7th house. It's just not there that's important. It triggers, it creates an energetic point, a powerful energetic point. It's an eclipse point. It happens here in your 7th house, but it's here and the opposing side of it. So this means we're looking at the degrees of between 638 of Gemini and Sagittarius energies. 638 to 1038 of Gemini and Sagittarius energies. Because when eclipse happen, they send a shot of energy down to the polar opposite. So this means, Sag, that this is very important for you. This is doubly important for you. And now you understand why that new moon time of wishing, time of, okay, what am I ready to release? What am I ready to forgive? And what do I want to bring into my life? But understanding you have to let go of something, let go of a fixed way of bonding with others in the past. Let go of those emotional, energetic wounds. Understanding you want a new way of doing that, because that's what new moons are. What I want to bring into my life. Who do I want to bring in? What sort of bonding do I want to bring in? What sort of communications do I want? Do I want to be a vessel where I'm bringing in the higher frequencies, or do I aspire to just connect in with dead loved ones, right? Remember all that stuff we talked about in the beginning, and metaphysical journaling. There might be something there you want clarity on. This is a time to ask for new moon wishes, for new moon intentions, for a time of saying, I need clarity in that. I don't know what it is that you're looking for. Only you do. But you take what resonates with you, for you within this message, and you apply it specifically to you in your life. When we talk about an eclipse is a change coming. An eclipse is not something that we can choose, okay? It will bring change. And it's bringing change in your partnership, your seventh house, significant one-on-one partnerships, all right? And because it's in Gemini, it's the way I think about a significant one-on-one partnership, the way I communicate within a significant one-on-one partnership. But it will also affect the way you think about yourself, who you are. It will trigger your talking, your communicating, your thinking, and your believing. Sagittarius energy is my belief, my faith about my future, my faith and my belief about traveling, about my appearance, about who I am. Sagittarius is about truth, right? They're all about the truth, but they're very wise and all about their wisdom. But it's definitely your physical body and the location of it, okay? So this could have so much to do with, maybe you will be traveling, but maybe you will be not living where you're living anymore, because it's an eclipse that shoots energy onto your ascendant. And our ascendant is where we're located. And many times this changes where we live and where we work. Many times it changes who we're in a relationship with. Many times we move, and when we move, that changes where we work, or vice versa. And many times who we're with, whether it's a marriage or a relationship, has a lot to do with where we live, okay? So there's an eclipse at 8:38 in Gemini, and all you got to do is find out, do you have a planet there? All right. Do you have a planet there, or is this on the cusp of your seventh house, or is it on the cusp of your ascendant? If there is, it's big and it's powerful, and there will be changes. And it'll be the things that I spoke about. The eclipse energy, it's a lunar north node eclipse. North node meaning it's where we're headed. It's about your future. Are you changing spouses? Doesn't mean it has to change a marriage or a relationship that's in a good position. Think about this. Be commonsensical, okay? Use some of the logical, rational Gemini power, which is, okay, I have a relationship. It's a really good relationship. I don't think it has anything to do with that. You're right. It may not, but it may have to do with business partnerships, because that is also Gemini energy in the seventh house. The seventh house is business partnerships, but it's also counseling, meeting with people one-on-one. Do you do work when you talk to people one-on-one? Do you do business that way? Have you been thinking about it? Are you planning on, maybe adding that to your repertoire of the things that you do? Gemini energy, very crafty, very hands-on. They can talk and think and relate to tons of different kinds of people, right? They're all about community. They're all about sibling type of energy, right? Hooking up with people that feel like siblings. They have the ability to talk to anybody, to have something in common, to be able, they're just, because of the ability to relate and to communicate, it's almost like they can hook up with lots of people. It's that I've got unity in my community, right? It's my neighbors, it's coworkers, right? It's people that we do networking with. So seventh house is all of that. It's not just marriage as in, oh, I love you and now we're going to get married. So there will be changes in all those things, okay? Now, all you got to do is utilize your new moon wishing. Because that new moon wishing in the beginning of November, like halfway through November 14th, 15th, 15 days later, an eclipse occurs. Using the universal frequencies and the energies gives you the power, puts the knowledge in your hand to sculpt and mold. Begins with how you think, how you wish, how you relate. You've got the belief, you've got the power to understand what it has to do with the eclipse energy that's coming. And this will set you up for the coming 2021. There's a big change in January of 2021. We have a lot of things happening, and it's in air. And this is important because air is your 7th house. You've got Gemini in the 7th. Well, we've got Saturn and Jupiter going into the sign of Aquarius in the end of December, going into January. And that's in your 3rd house. And that 3rd house energy means Saturn, that will all be trining your ascendant, your descendant, okay? And so this brings about a new way of talking, a new way of relating, a new way of communicating, new neighbors, new people in my community, meeting new people on the internet, social media. It's like all new, but ways that are beyond you, ways of communicating, relating, thinking, inventing that are so beyond me, so beyond you. They're all about that divine frequencies of what's out there. It's like this Tesla energy. It's the cosmic energies and frequencies coming through and having everything to do with ideas for you, ideas that are beyond you. And it is all contingent on you putting aside your personality, your ego. Be the clear channel. This is the preparatory time. Be the clear channel for the high frequencies, Sagittarius. This is your time. Get ready to receive.